And know that the only person that will be visible in the video is me, unless you unmute yourself. Then you may show up in the video, but I'll just chop it out. Okay. So we're coming back into that belly breath. We're thinking about connecting to the movement of the breath length and the physical body. And begin to notice, is there a synchronicity there, or does it feel like the breath and the body are moving at slightly different tempos? So we're going to begin to build the awareness of that belly breath a little bit further down into the pelvic floor, which is one of the other areas where we're holding tension, dysfunction, pain, and tightness. And so similarly, as you're inhaling into the belly and the diaphragm is moving down, the pelvic floor also expands towards the floor. And with your exhale, the diaphragm and the pelvic floor returning towards their center. Inhale to lengthen, bringing the breath down towards the earth. Exhale to release the belly and the diaphragm. Inhale, expansive. Exhale to release. One more time. Inhale, expansive. Exhale, release. This time, as you inhale deep into the belly and the pelvic floor, also draw that into the ribs and the chest. Exhaling through the chest, ribs, and lower body. Inhale through the belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling through the chest, ribs, and belly. Inhale into the belly, ribs, and chest. And as you explore this three-part breath through the chest, ribs, and belly, also notice what else begins to arise. You're going to continue with this three-part breath at your own pace, but begin to notice what else arises in the body. Where is there tightness? Where are you holding? Where is there pain, heaviness, a pulsing? And as you bring your awareness into these spaces, imagine that the exhales can direct the energy of the breath into those spaces and offer support, observation and clarity, and release. And staying with that breath, bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest. And begin to sense this movement through the body, into the hands. Let the hands hold the breath just as much as you're offering the breath into the hands. And if you could set one intention for your practice today, what would that intention be? And let that begin to fill the space of the torso, the movement of the breath and the energy, and the mind. And gently releasing the hands. Sitting firmly into the sit bones and reaching tall through the spine, bring the right ear to the right shoulder. Think about, where is there sensation arising? Notice if this is your full range of motion. Sometimes we automatically want to go right into the full range, but maybe you're feeling a little bit tense, so you only go like 50% or 20% into the posture. And this is okay too. Can you still breathe into the left side? Maybe the left side of the neck is lifting up towards the ceiling. Even here, can you still find that deeply pelvic breath? And then imagine that you heard something in that left ear, and you're going to tilt the chin slightly towards that something. And the head will rotate on the axis of the side neck bend. And you might get a little bit of a different stretch in the neck and head. Soften that left shoulder, but also soften the right shoulder. And then you're going to imagine that you heard something really interesting on that right shoulder, and you're going to tilt the chin on the axis of the neck slightly towards that right shoulder. Inhale, bring the chin through center. Use the right hand to gently guide the head through center. And then you're going to gently bring the left ear to the left shoulder, switching sides, still being aware of this expansive breath. Sometimes it's like every breath, you got to remind yourself, okay, deep breath, steady breath. Some days it's a little bit more natural, a little bit more fluid. Both are totally great spaces to be. It just is inviting us to approach with a different energy. So you're thinking about this right side neck, lifting the right side up towards the ceiling, and yet softening through the shoulders. As you find that deep breath, still aware of what's going on within the belly, within the pelvic floor, even as you bring space into the head and neck. And then you're going to imagine that you heard that really interesting something on that top right ear, and you're going to tilt the chin just slightly, as if you're going to take a small peek as to what was behind that right ear. On your inhale, you're going to tilt the chin back through center, and then you heard something really cool on that bottom left ear, and you're going to tilt the chin slightly towards the left shoulder. Awesome. Inhale, tilt the chin through center, and use the left hand to guide the head through center. If you've been sitting in a cross-legged position, maybe you switch out which leg is in front, optional. And then from here, you're going to take a casual walk. You're going to walk the hands over to the right side, and you're going to find any version of your twist. Maybe the legs are framing. Maybe left hand comes to the right knee. And then the right hand that's behind you. Oh, let me tilt my camera down a little bit because I'm not getting chopped off. Okay. So maybe we're here somewhere in this twist, but wherever you are, the fingers are there just to support you. No weight, but rather lifting you away from the floor so you can find tallness in the spine. And then press the back of the head just slightly to the space behind you so that the shoulders, excuse me, and the head stack. And then here too, can you still find that deeply expansive breath? Maybe the answer is like, I don't know. The twist makes it a little bit harder. The belly is constricted now. Notice if one hand or the other hand is feeling a little bit heavy, and sit even taller through the spine. Let the core be long and strong. And then without changing the body, you're going to look over the other shoulder, the left shoulder. Okay. So from here, we're going to inhale. We're looking over the left shoulder, and then exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, look over the left shoulder. Exhale, looking over the right shoulder. One more time. Inhale, gently looking over the left shoulder. Exhale, over the right shoulder. Inhale, bring the gaze forward. Unwind the arms. And you're going to walk the hands to the other side. And then each side is different. So you might find like, oh my gosh, like totally different sensations. My back feels different. There's something different about my hips. Take your time. Maybe the hands find a different position that better serves your practice here. And wherever you are, the hands, they're light. So the energy is lifting away from the floor, away from the hips and towards the crown. Notice if the chest is kind of closing in, and keep the armpits wide. Even in the twist, even as you notice the flow of the breath, can it still flow within the space of the belly and the ribs? Inhale, look over the right shoulder. Pausing here, you're going to broaden the chest, lengthen the crown. Inhaling here, and with your exhale, looking over the opposite shoulder. Inhale, gazing over the right shoulder. Exhale to the opposite side. Inhale through center and over the right shoulder. Exhaling as you begin to gaze over the left. Inhale, bring the gaze through center and bring the body through center. Roll the shoulders up together and down by the sides. For a moment, reconnect to the breath and your intention. Maybe the hands come to the heart center for a little bit more focus. Maybe they're on the knees. Take a moment to send yourself gratitude wherever you are for all that you're exploring, even through something as simple as the breath and small functional movements. Bring the right hand now down in front of you like you're holding a plate. And then you're going to bring the left hand on top like you're covering the plate. Interlock the knuckles and then have a gentle pull of the hands apart. This is Ganesha Mudra, mudra of overcoming obstacles, but mudra also of protector of the threshold, which is also the body. And with this gentle pull, allow the shoulders to soften, the breath to be steady. Notice if you're like, oh, and you're like super strong, then can you be gentle about how much energy you're using here? Begin to breathe into the space of the breath, of your mudra. Sense into your strength of the shoulders. Notice the warmth that begins to build within the belly. If you're squeezing the hips a little bit, maybe they soften, and the butt, the sit bones also broaden to release compression in the sacrum. Taking one more breath here. And exhale. Gently releasing your mudra. Bring the hands back down and bring the pointer and the thumb to touch. And the pointer, the top finger is going to come down to the first thumb knuckle. And then palms facing up towards the sky. This mudra invites us to explore our emotions, our thoughts, without grasping or attachment. Notice what has already begun to arise in the body. Notice how you can begin to meet this space. And if you could put one or two words into the mind to describe anything at all about what you're noticing in this moment, take a few moments to invite these words into the space as you recognize your experience here. And as you're ready, releasing your hands, releasing your meditative seat, you're going to bring the legs out in front and send the legs to one side. Doesn't matter which side, because eventually we're going to switch sides. So we're going to take the bottom leg and you're going to bring it out in front so that the front leg, the bottom leg, foot touches the back leg. Okay. So I know we kind of did this last time, so it's going to be relatively similar, but we're going to add an extra stretch at the end. So first you're just going to notice like, okay, what is happening in my hips? Are they seated? Are they rooted? If not, they don't necessarily have to be, but if there's a lot of pain in the hips to sit here, then you're going to put something underneath the butt. It could be anything. It could be a blanket, towel, block, book, cushion. You're going to put that there and you're going to sit tall. And then from here, you're going to begin to bring the fingertips wide and Again, same thing. You're going to press away from the earth rather than heavy energy. You're going to get tall energy. Bring the shoulders away. Find a nice long neck so that we're not squeezing and bunching. Take a full breath. You're going to inch the same hand that's on the back leg. You're going to inch that out, back leg arm out, and then front leg arm lifts. And then actually, Robert, the other way, opposite. Yes, perfect. And then really think about the hips here. Are they rooted on the floor? Maybe, maybe not. Less important, you're just noticing. Soften the shoulders away from the neck. And then inhale, come through center. And then you're going to twist to the opposite leg. Yes. And think about the hip that you can't see, this hip over here, the back hip. You're going to lengthen the back hip towards the floor as much as you can. Maybe nothing happens, right? Maybe nothing moves, but that's okay. Inhale, you're going to now frame the front foot, the front knee rather. And then we're going to pause. So we just went from twist to framing that front foot, or rather front knee, excuse me. And then you're going to think about this back leg. It could be that it feels perfectly awesome right there. Maybe you also begin to lengthen the leg down, but keep the inner knee stays on the floor. So when the knee wants to lift or the front hip wants to lift, you're going to pause. And then you're going to notice a stretch through the inner thigh, inner groin. Maybe. And then maybe there's a couple other sensations in the low back. So we're going to come back here, and then you can just stay here, right? There's plenty going on. There's enough going on. If you want to go further, you can begin to bring the forearms to the floor, if that feels okay for the back and for the hips. Otherwise, upright is a perfectly awesome place to be. And then we're going to think about the same belly breath and pelvic floor breath that we've been exploring. If you do happen to have a headache, or you're just interested in this variation, you can bend the elbows, and as long as the elbows don't hurt on the floor, and then interlace your hands, and then you can rest your forehead on your hands. And then wherever you are, we're going to take 3 breaths here. So from here, you're going to slowly begin to rise. Bring the back leg in, and maybe just kind of release, wiggle the legs. You can windshield them side to side. And then you're going to bring the legs to the opposite side as before. And that bottom leg is now going to come out, and you're going to start with the feet connected, feet and knee connected. And then same thing, you're just going to be like, are my hips rounded? What am I noticing in the hip creases, in the low back, in the outer hips, in the knees? And then if you need to, put something underneath the butt to offer yourself a little bit more support and some relief if there's a lot of tension there. So from here, you're going to begin to bring the fingertips out to the side. The fingertips are going to press away from the floor and you're going to get tall. And then soften the shoulders, light elbow bend. And then the hand, the back leg hand is going to bend. Elbow is going to bend and you're going to go into a side bend towards that side. Yes, exactly. And then you're going to think, what changed about the legs? Am I squeezing or holding? Do I need to? Maybe the answer is yes. Maybe the answer is no. Taking a soft breath here. With your exhale, come back to center. And then begin to twist over the front leg. Other way. Opposite way. Yes, perfect. Yep. So you're going to fold over that leg and then soften through the hips that you cannot see. And then you're going to come back towards the front knee, frame the front knee, and then you have the option to lengthen the back thigh down and away from you any amount until it feels like the knee wants to lift or there's any discomfort. And then maybe you stay right here. There's, again, enough going on. Maybe you begin to lower down to your forearms. Think about long back, long hips. And then same thing, belly breath, diaphragmatic breath. Are you squeezing in the shoulders or the glutes? Take just 2 more breaths here. And then as you're ready, you're gently pressing yourself to an upright space. You're going to windshield wiper the knees, release the legs. And then we're going to come back into a meditative space. So maybe you stay right here with the legs extended. Maybe you come back to knees bent and in a cross-legged position. Maybe you find hero's pose or lie down on your back. Any place where you can meditate is good. So you're going to find any comfortable meditative position. Maybe wiggle out any last energies, or begin to come back to that breath. Begin to notice anything about the body. We've done a few different things in here. Maybe something has shifted, maybe nothing has shifted. And then the optional mudra that you have for your meditation will be to bring the pointer and thumb to touch and the middle 2 fingers into the middle of the palm and the pinky sticks out. And this is a mudra that will help to release any neck tension, head tension, offer some clarity into the third eye. As you begin to find your seat and find your space, come back to the breath and let the details of the physical begin to soften and maybe even blur. Begin to notice the temperature of the air on the body, the temperature of the air as it fills the body. The energy which flows within the breath. See the outer line of your body and your form. Beginning to sense into the strong bones, which offer shape to this form and this body. Sensing into the muscles, which offer function to our form. Noticing the soft tissue, the soft muscle, and the organs in the body. The respiratory system, circulatory, digestive, limbic, nervous, and all systems of the body. All things which fill this space support our vital body. Sense into all of the movements that are occurring at any given moment within you to ensure that you can navigate through your space and through your life. Sensing how the movement and texture of the breath meets the physical body, how the movement of the subtle body, the breath body, is the essence which moves the physical body. And begin within you to see and notice any and all fluctuations which are arising at any time. Fluctuations of thought, fluctuation of emotion, imagine these fluctuations as bubbles or grains of sand. Knowing and trusting that you have full control over how much attention this bubble or grain of sand is drawing from you, and how you can view this bubble or grain of sand. Inviting the bubble of comfort to float into the space. And within it, noticing all of your memories, all of your experiences which have invited you to define this concept of comfort. Holding space for how large or small this grain or bubble is. Only taking in just the right amount to observe. Taking a deep breath into the space. and exhale. Inhaling the bubble of love into the space. Notice anything and everything about this bubble, any colors, textures, or memories associated or arising. Taking in any and all that arises from this bubble in the capacity that you need. Growing this bubble as large as you need it to, or small. Soft breath in through the nose. Soft exhale. Inviting the bubble of discomfort into the space. Again, you can decide how large or small this space is as you explore. Maybe it's so far away you can't even see it. Maybe today you're gazing right at it. Notice all of the sensations and experiences which arise from this space of discomfort. Noticing how you've met each of these spaces. Noticing how you're meeting this space now. Taking a soft breath in through the nose and exhale. Let the bubble of gratitude float into the space. Noticing any and all textures and forms which arise with it. Let it effortlessly fill your senses and your experience. And as you begin to gaze into this space of gratitude, light begins to fill the body, and you begin to recognize all of your inner resource, all of your inner strength, and your full capacity to meet your journey as you need in each moment. Full breath in here through the nose. Soft exhale. Beginning to return your awareness back into the physical body and this physical space. Noticing any and all that are arising as you come into your weekend. Releasing your mudra and reaching the arms up and overhead. Taking a big stretch. And exhale to bring the hands through the heart center. Gathering that gratitude, that sense of comfort, that sense of trust for all that you can do in each moment. Thank you so much for sharing your practice in your afternoon, or rather your evening. The light within me, 1,000 honors the light within you. Thank you so much. to stop recording.